Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to upload my lecture number 7, that is about JV analysis for perovskite solar cell simulation on scaffolding. It is very interesting and informative video tutorial, especially for those persons who are trying to simulate any kind of perovskite or solar structure on scaffolding. I have received a lot of queries and messages from a lot of students, researchers, that they are willing to compute IV characteristic curve on SCAP simulation tool, and they are willing to know about how we can compute JV analysis. In my today's video lecture, I will explain a brief detail about JV analysis, how we can compute JV analysis SCAP simulation tool, how we can optimize the value of the current and optimize value of voltage for different kind of perovskite or solar structures. So I am going to share my screen with all of you so that I can start my today's lecture. Okay, dear friends, whenever you are going to start any kind of analysis, when you will open the SCAP interface, it will appear like that. And I have already uploaded a tentative detailed lectures related to CV analysis, CF analysis, Morse-Schottky analysis, and other analysis as well. So today's analysis about the computation of JV characteristic curve and JV analysis, and a lot of people have some misunderstanding what is the difference between JV analysis and IV analysis. So I would like to explain with a detail that what kind of difference it has or what kind of similarity both the analysis have. So when you are going to start simulation on SCAPS 1Ds for particularly simulation of perovskite solar cells or either simple solar cells, you need to design architecture in SCAPS 1D, or you can use a built-in already generated any structure that you have already simulated in your SCAPS 1D. So I'm going to once again use already built-in structure that has been simulated by me a few days ago. So I'm going to show you that structure. For that purpose, when you are going to start your JV analysis or current to voltage analysis in SCAP 1D, particularly for solar cells or perovskite solar cell simulation, we need to mark first of all IV curve button on enable. This is most important thing when you are going to start your IV or JV characteristic analysis. We need to mark this button. And in this video tutorial, I will also explain that IV analysis can also cover a lot of performance parameters like fill factor, quantum efficiency, and power conversion efficiency as well, and how we can compute and how we can extract data and how we can perform some tentative good graphical representation from getting some detailed data from SCAP 1D. So I have just clicked IV curve because I am today interested in computation of JV characteristic analysis, IV characteristic analysis, and the relationship between open voltage and the short circuit current value like that. So I have just marked this button IVs, and I have just marked this button quantum efficiency. Next thing is what I need to set my voltage value. So I am going to set little bit higher value, and then in the later session I will explain you how we can arrange the values of V1 and V2 so that our simulation and graphical representation can be smooth. So I have just kept my V2 value 1.5. You can arrange this value 1.3, 1.2, but depending upon the type of your perovskite. Like if someone is using tin-based perovskite, he should know that the highest VOC value for tin-based is around 0.8. So he should use this value V2 little bit higher than that of actual VOC value of the tin-based perovskite. Second, if someone is using lead-based perovskite, he must understand that for the case of lead-based perovskite, the highest value for VOC that has been achieved in lab experimental is above 1.1 something. So he should use little bit higher value over here. And similarly, if I am talking about for germanium-based perovskite has a little bit higher VOC value like 1.8 and 1.9. So one person can set its voltage value accordingly. So it is very important to know the importance of setting V2 value depending upon your perovskite structure. So now I'm going towards my perovskite structure that is being simulated in this video tutorial in order to compute JV analysis or current voltage characteristic graphical representation. So I'm going to show you my device structure. Okay. First of all, I need to explain what kind of device structure today I'm going to simulate for JV characteristic analysis. So you can see that this is a typical structure that has Spiro-Optimide as HTL material, whole transport material. It is typically used for lab work and experimental work as well as simulation work. But I have already explained that this material has a little bit disadvantages, like its cost is very high and it can increase the fabrication process and built-in generation of your architecture. Second is basically methyl ammonium tin tribromide based perovskite or absorber layer. It is very good perovskite, and we have seen the better stability, ambient stability, and better carrier mobility and better absorption ability against this perovskite. So the results can be good with the use of this absorber or perovskite. And next is titanium dioxide. It is again, once again, typical ETL material, but good material, because we have seen that in lab session that TiO2 layer can provide better results with better mobility and better efficiency can be seen. And last one is FTO glass, a substrate layer. You can also add it and you can also run your simulation without it. And similarly, one person can add back metal contact and front metal contact. And I have already uploaded a very detailed video lecture about the effect of the back metal contact and right metal contact in my YouTube channel. You can watch that lecture as well in order to get some better understanding. Next one is basically the interfacing layer. There are basically three interfacing layers. First interfacing layer is between FTO glass and titanium dioxide, and second interfacing layer is between titanium dioxide and the perovskite or absorber, and last one is basically absorber and HTL material. Unfortunately, there is some mistake. We can correct over it. We can use our HTL, like I can write HTL. And I have already informed you that I'm using Spiro-Optimide as the HTL material. So I have just informed you about my today's structure that is being computed right now. And we are going to start now JV characteristic analysis. And we have already clicked JV or IV action, and the IV simulation button is already on. And now I'm going to start JV characteristic analysis. I need to click OK button. Okay. So now I'm going to run my simulation. Now I'm going to compute a JV characteristics analysis, and then I can optimize my graphical representation. So I need to click calculate single shot. We need to wait while the simulation is being carried out. Okay, my simulation is completed. So now I can revert my simulation and results towards JV characteristics analysis. Now I need to click over IV characteristic curve. Okay. So, okay, you can see that now clearly I have a graphical representation over here. The first graph over here on the left side is basically a relationship of what of short circuit current with open voltage value. There are two important things. We need to remember that we need to understand about the basic theory behind it. When we talk about the short circuit current value, upon the short circuit current value, we can see that we have highest short circuit current value, like you can see 27.99. It is about 28 milliampere per centimeter square. Upon the highest value of short circuit current value, JC, short circuit, means upon this point, we will have voltage value 0. This is the first condition. When we are going to compute the short circuit current value on the highest maximum value of the short circuit current value, we will have voltage value 0. And when we talk about the VOC value is about 0.86, little bit over here. Remember that why we call VOC, what it means actually, VOC means open circuit voltage. And upon the value of open circuit voltage, we will have maximum voltage that has been computed for particularly my today's structure. On this value VOC like 0.86, we will have current value 0 over here. In short, I can say that on the y-axis, my voltage will be 0 up against the value of the short circuit, maximum short circuit current value. That's why I'm saying short circuit current value, JC. And upon the value of VOC on x-axis, I can say that the value of the current will be 0 in order to compute both computational value like JC and VOC value. So people are extremely confusing over here. What do you mean by IV characteristic curve, and what do you mean by JC or JV characteristic curve? So you need to remember that both things are same. But when we talk about JV analysis, we are talking about short circuit current versus open voltage. What do you mean by short circuit and what do you mean by open voltage? I have already explained in detail. But in case of simulation SCAPS only, we need to mark this button IV, because we are going to compute a graphical representation between voltage and current value. So one person can simply understand what is the relationship of VOC and JC value. So since I am using tin-based perovskite, so one person need to know about that the highest value that has been computed in lab work is about 0.81 and 0.82. So my results about VOC is little bit close to lab experimental results. And while we are doing simulation, we must be careful about these values. Our value must not be so much higher and so much lower as compared to the lab and experimental results. So doing simulation is not difficult thing, but optimizing your parameter and getting the closest value to your lab session is most important thing. And when we talk about JC short circuit current value, although my JC short circuit current value is lower, but it is still comparable with labs. That my fill factor value is about 81.01. This fill factor value is still comparable with lab session, and I have already uploaded about fill factor effect and the variation of the thickness on the fill factor value in my previous video tutorials, and you can also watch my lectures how thickness can control the fill factor value. And I have already explained that the value of the fill factor can never be greater than 1 and can never be equal to 1. And the reason behind that is already been uploaded in my lecture that was about the effect of the thickness of the absorber thickness over fill factor value. Now I'm coming towards the efficiency value eta. Although the efficiency of tin-based perovskite solar cells are limited about 14% in lab session, but my efficiency is a little bit higher, but we can also optimize this efficiency, like we can increase like little bit higher defect density of the absorber or interfacing layer, and we can control this power conversion efficiency up to lab session as well. So I just explained about a few performance parameters that are included in JV analysis. I have just talked about the VOC value. I have just explained about short circuit current value, fill factor value, and power conversion efficiency eta. The next important thing is about the quantum efficiency. So I'm going to click over quantum efficiency. Okay, we can see that over here is the basically graphical representation between quantum efficiency and the photon energy. One person can also vary its axis, like I'm going to change my axis wavelength. We can check the effect of the wavelength on quantum efficiency. So we can see that when the wavelength was about 300, our quantum efficiency was lowered about 50%. When the wavelength of the light, incident light, was about 350 to a range of almost, you can see over here, 650. The power conversion efficiency is a little bit higher than that of 50%. It is about 70, 80, and 90. So highest quantum efficiency can be seen across the value of about, again, 370 nanometer. So it is basically a graphical representation between quantum efficiency and the wavelength. One person can also check the effect of photon energy, and we can see that effect of the photon energy on quantum efficiency. When the photon energy was lowered 1.4, the quantum efficiency was about 60%, and it tend to increasing over the range of photon energy of 3.4, and it tend to decreases dramatically, exponentially decreasing after the highest value of photon energy is 3.4, 3.6, 3.8, 4, and so on. So we can say that the better photon energy range is between 1.6 to 3.4. Across it, quantum efficiency was higher. Now, the next thing I'm going to explain, someone can also get data from SCAP simulation tool, and he can just put the data in other software like Origin and can get better graphical representation as well. So I'm going to once again back to my IV characteristic curve so that I can show you how we can compute some tentative values, how we can extract some values, and how we can put these values in some other softwares like Region, and we can get some better plots. And when we talk about over this recombination currents, we know that there can be recombination defects, recombination currents, and over here are all the parameters that has been shown over here. You can see that the red lines are at the left contact minority carrier. Due to minority carrier, the recombination currents are over here, and the p-type carrier, majority carriers, the recombination currents are over here mentioned, and the same for interfaces and other parameters. But today's lecture is about JV characteristic analysis, so I'm not going to focus about the recombination factor, recombination rate, or recombination current. Now, next thing is that we are going to check the parametric values so that we can extract some data from SCAP simulation tool over here. I need to click over show. So, okay. So I'm going to show you my some tentative material data that can be extracted. First of all, we can see that our VOC value is 0.86, short circuit current value 28, fill factor, eta, and other thing. So if someone is interested in order to get better graphical representation, he can extract data from here. Like we can see that over here is the voltage, over short circuit current value, recombination, and other parameters as well. So we can also get data from over here, and we can get these data in some other softwares or region like that, and we can extract some tentative good graphical representations over here. Now, next thing I'm going to explain that we can see over here, this curve is little bit better over here, while the range of 0.8, but after 0.8 value, we can see that we have again like a sharp curve. How we can fix this, how we can extract this, how we can make a graphical representation smoother. So this is a very common problem when some people are doing some kind of simulation in SCAP 1D, they have like this curve. And when we try to put this curve in some graphical representation in paper and some research article, it can provide us a negative impact. How we can fix this graphical representation more smoother. So I'm going to explain about that. So I need to once again go back to my simulation. Okay. So, okay, you can see that I'm going to, on my first interfacing session that was about the SCAP, I need to make this value fixed because I am trying to get smoother result and graphical representation. I have seen that my simulation and my results have shown that the highest value that has been achieved for mentioned perovskite is about 0.8 like that. So I'm going to fix my value 0.8 volt. Like I'm going to set my 0.8 volt because my highest VOC value that has been achieved for today's simulation is about 0.8, nearly to about 0.8, and I'm trying to get some better graphical representation. So I'm going to mark this clear simulation, and once again I'm going to simulate my structure. Now this time we will see that the graphical representation will be more smoother. There will be no edges, no sharp edges that were basically available in my previous session. Okay, now I'm going to show you. Okay, now you can see that my graphical representation is absolutely smoother, and after VOC value, we don't have sharp edges, we don't have representation of graphical representation. A lot of people don't know about that when they are trying to simulate. They definitely have some like that problem. They have curve like after VOC as well. But most important thing is that we need to know about that. After VOC, we don't understand or we don't consider the values because we are more interested in getting VOC values. So you can see over here, now my graphical representation is ended upon 0.8 volt. Similarly, it is important to understand that highest VOC that has been achieved for my today's perovskite is 0.8. So I just kept this value 0.8, and by setting this value, you can see that my graphical representations are extremely smoother and better as compared to previous one. I hope this session will be important for all those people who are trying to conduct JV analysis, who are trying to get the effect of IV characteristic analysis for particularly perovskite or something else. If you have any question, you can still comment on video session. I will try my level best to respond to you on the same time. And thank you once again for listening me and supporting me. Take care, stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.